Well, good evening. The country is yet experiencing, should I say, another scandal at the KEMSA organization. And tonight, I'm hosting one of the allies of the Kenya Kwanza administration. I'm talking about Brian Dungo, who is actually a young millionaire, traveled all the way to the US and came back with millions of dollars. Glad to have you in the program. Karibu sana.
Karibu sana.
Uko salama?
Niko salama.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
And I want to start with, allow me to take you back into when the president was in his campaign trail. The president was quite clear on where he wants to take the country.
Yes.
The issue of appointments. He said that he wants to create a government which depicts the picture of the Republic of Kenya. From where you sit, as an ally of this administration, as a young leader, a political analyst, do you think the president has gotten it right in terms of state appointments?
Thank you so much for having me in this show. And thank you for that question. So, in regards to the appointment of different people in different positions in the government, first of all, I'll congratulate the president. Ask me why.
Why? He has been attacked so much by people criticizing him on the state appointments, focusing on two major tribes and you know, not giving other tribes a chance.
So number one, one of the president's key agenda was employment.
Yes.
Now the president has created employment using his government, what he has, and he has employed let me call them a lot of youths in different positions. So number one, he has achieved the agenda on employment. Then number two, this is his government. He knows why he need, for example, 50 CAS. CAS. He knows why. So for me, and we
will get to that the appointment of the CASs in a moment. But I think the question was in terms of state appointment, and the reason why I'm saying this is because we have seen members of the opposition say that fine, you are the president, you are chief in the command of the armed forces. Your appointments as the head of state should reflect the Republic of Kenya. When you look at the cabinet, for example, you find that we have dominant tribes. That is Kikuyu and Kalenjin, to be precise. And when the president was asked, he said, I have an agenda, and the people who believe in me are my supporters. Right? And most of the supporters come from those two ethnic tribes. From where you sit, as a young, promising leader, and as an analyst, do you think the president, once again, has gotten it right in appointing public servants into the positions of authority?
Yes, he has gotten it right. As you have said, he has an agenda and he needs supporters. So during his campaign, those two ethnic groups you've mentioned about are the key supporters who made him to become the president. So why shouldn't he be a good leader or a good Kenyan or a good person, as a matter of fact, and like give back to those communities that supported him? Now, giving back to those two communities, now you mentioned the Kalenjin and the Kikuyu, and they are his supporters to his agenda, you see? So that makes it clear. When they supported him during the campaign, now he gives them the jobs, and then when he's doing the agendas or like implementing the agendas, they also helped him in implementing the agendas because they gave him the job of becoming the president. So he has gotten it right in appointing those two ethnic communities because they helped him get the job.
Allow me to take you back into the introduction statement that I've made about the KEMSA issue. We seem to find a lot of quagmire in the KEMSA scandal. I understand this has been an endemic problem. It started when the president was in charge, that is the former president Uhuru Kenyatta, and President William Ruto now is another looming scandal. And he said that he is going to do what it takes to make sure that KEMSA work.
And he has
actually, yes, he has fired some top officials.
Yes.
Do you think, in your honest opinion, will he fight the cartels which have power in the whole KEMSA?
Definitely he will. He is the president of the Republic of Kenya.
But others have tried.
The commander-in-chief.
And they have failed. Others have tried, actually. And they sounded as much, you know, they sounded with a lot of enthusiasm, with a lot of, you know, zeal to fight this mega corruption scandal in KEMSA.
But for the others, it has just been hot air. For him, he has started firing people.
What do you mean by hot air?
what did Uhuru do in terms of the KEMSA affair? What did he do? For Ruto, he said he'll make sure that the KEMSA issue is history, is back, that we have forgotten about it. And he has already started around 7-8 months in power, and he have already like removed the top officials in KEMSA. So he has already started that battle of making sure things at KEMSA are calm and cool. Yes.
And again, let me just take you back, because we are talking about an hustler government. Actually, the hustler narrative was at the very center of President Ruto's campaign. And he said, this government, I will form it, itakuwa serikali ya mahustlers. Again, because this is a matters of national concerns. And this is in regards to the finance bill that is, which is proposed in Parliament, the Finance Bill 2023. I have looked at the bill, and there are a number of, taxes which are imposed. Number one, the tax on content creators, 15%, the 3% housing levy, the increasement of the VAT tax from 8% to 16%. Are Kenyans overtaxed, Brian?
Right now you can call it being overtaxed. But then it's about Kenyans don't want to accept that change. You see?
You call it change?
Yeah, I call it change. During his campaigns, he said that a lot of money is being lost because a lot of things are happening in Kenya and they are not being taxed. Then, if you listen to him closely, his agenda is we develop Kenya through taxes, not through debts. So he has an aim, or he has a plan, an agenda of reducing the debts and focusing on the taxes. Let's go back to the Mwai Kibaki's government. So during Mwai Kibaki's government, he focused on using the taxes. You see, the taxes Kenyans are paying to make sure he runs the government's agenda. For debts should be used on development. You cannot borrow and come and run the current and recurrent expenditure. You have to use the taxes Kenyans are removing. So if you focus or maximize on taxing almost everything that is happening in Kenya, definitely, because right now we're in a quagmire. We have debts, some are maturing, and we have taxes. We need to push our education system, our hospitals. We have a lot of things to push. We have a budget to run, and we don't have money as a country. So we need to pay these debts. At the same time, we need to make things in our country move. So where do we get this money? If not borrowing, we need to tax our own people. Now think of a situation like this, where Kenya, we will be using our own taxes, we will be funding our own budgets and doing everything. You see, these countries that are funding us, the countries that we are borrowing from, we are borrowing their taxes.
That's right.
True or false?
That's true.
So we are developing our country from taxes from other countries. So why shouldn't we do inside Kenya? We just focus on our taxes and build our country using our taxes. We tax everything and we make sure everything is running.
Why? You put it very clearly, but clearly Kenyans are complaining of the hard economic times because they are saying you are overtaxing already heavy-laden punda. Punda amechoka. That is what I use the words of the former Prime Minister and the opposition leader, Raila Odinga. He's saying that this government is not focusing and it is not sensitive on the life of the hustlers. The hustlers are saying that this tax, they are too much for them. And I will quote what the KRU member of parliament said, Honorable Ndidi Nyoro says, that even this 3% housing levy, you give us the money and you will be able to get the money, back your money in 7 years' time. He's already working under the premise that this administration will be the next administration. This is the language of people who are on campaign trail. Are leaders in this government still campaigning for 2027 election from where you sit and in your honest assessment?
My friend, Peter Mwema.
Yes.
For William Samoei Ruto to become the president of the Republic of Kenya, alijipanga. And if you can listen to what he says, he keeps on repeating, nikujipanga. So that's why he's still echoing. He's telling the former Prime Minister, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, that he stops the maandamano and waits for 2027. He campaigns again.
The maandamano from the former Prime Minister is because the cost of unga has not yet gone down. And the president is
but are we sure about that?
the president, just hold on, just hang on there. The president says, once I am sworn in, nikiweka Biblia chini hivi tu, this price of unga will be at 100 shillings. People are saying ni kama Biblia alinunua na ni kama hajarudisha chini. Is that the case? Because even people are saying this unga of they are saying 170 bob. It's hard to get. So the president, I beg your pardon, the former prime minister, take to the streets in so-called mandamano so that he can counter the government from employing more taxes and removing the subsidies on unga, so that Kenyans can access a low-priced unga. So don't you think the former prime minister asked a justification to go to the streets?
While the president was saying, nikiweka Biblia chini, bei ya unga itashuka. So that means bei ya unga ilikuwa juu. True or false?
That's right.
Bei ya unga, it was high. And then the former prime minister, Raila, had a handshake with the former president, Uhuru.
That's also correct.
So why is Raila taking it to the streets saying that unga ishuke, and yet he was in the government by virtue of handshake? So meaning the unga was still
What do you mean by he was in the government? We never saw any appointment to any public service office by Raila. It was
Very
not
true.
It was not given a position in government. So
Constitutional-
all that it's a fallacious statement.
No, constitutionally, His Excellency Ruto was the deputy president.
That's right.
But mambo kwa ground, Raila was the chief advisor of the president. Since 2018, after the handshake, things changed. Tables changed. All the people who were from the UDA side, all the friends to Ruto, someone like Aden Duale, all of them, they were kicked out from different positions. You see?
So you say, if I am getting you right, and for the record, you say that the cost of living in this scenario has been caused by the entrance of the opposition chief into the former government.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the cost of living has been high. Ever since he was the deputy president, then come the handshake. Well, Baba was there. The cost of living was still high. Now that Ruto is in government, Baba should stop telling us that the cost of living is high, that Ruto should reduce the bay of unga. And yet, while he was in government, nothing was happening. So they should stop from blaming Ruto. That is the one who has made the unga prices to go up. We also know that this is a dollar problem.
Be that as it may, Brian, don't you think the president is sort of deluding Kenyans in the sense that most of the promises that he made on the campaign trail, most of them actually as today, dated 17th of May 2023, are yet to be implemented? Do you think the president has been lying to Kenyans?
He has not been lying to Kenyans. What I'll say is, you know, while campaigning, you have plans and ambitions. But once you get where you want to go, you find that things are quite different from how you had expected them to be. So when you find things the way they are, you now need to adjust. You now need to think, how do I do A, how do I do B? And how does A and B add up to C? So you need to think about that.
I don't understand that one.
So you need to think.
Go on.
So while he was formulating his agendas and while he was giving out promises to Kenyans, there is the way he visualized that the things will be. But when he got into government, he found out that things are quite different. So he had to adjust. So what I'd say, he's not lying to Kenyans, but he's trying to give Kenyans hope. He's trying to tell Kenyans, I as the president, I have a plan. And this is the plan. So kindly give me time to work out this plan. He's borrowing, he's asking, give me 2 to 3 years. And I'm telling you, this plan will work.
So from what you're saying is, give the president time.
Let's give the president time. You know, Peter, you cannot wake up today and decide, I want to be a lecturer. You have to work. Maybe you go to university that they don't even teach the lecturing courses. You now need to adjust. What can I do for me to become a lecturer?
Now you're using political, the gimmicks, but that's
that's how it is.
That's a different case from what we're discussing.
That's how it is.
That's a different case from what we're
not.
discussing tonight.
It's not.
But we give him the benefit of doubt.
Exactly.
But I wonder what the hustlers are thinking tonight, and maybe your message to them and to the millions of people who trusted the president to be in that position as the commander-in-chief. What is your message to them, to the most of them who are hardly having a meal on the table as we wind up the discussion?
I'll just repeat what I said. My message to millions of Kenyans who trusted on the president and made him the president, and my message to them is just give time. Give time to this president. You can see even the way he has reduced weight. You don't just reduce weight by sleeping.
He said he changed the eating.
And why did he change? Because he's working for the millions of Kenyans who trusted him. So I'll say let's give him hope, and let's hope in him. Let's have hope in him. Let's give him time. Let's not go to the streets and undermine, because we are still destroying other people's jobs and businesses. We still, you see, Nairobi is one of the most the counties that's giving country money, one of the largest revenue income streams for Kenya. So if you take Mandamano to Nairobi every 2 days per week, and actually they are weekdays, you're derailing the plans the president has, the governor of Nairobi has for the county. And now you want to tell us that when you're given maybe a share of the government, or when you become the president, you're the one who will change things. So that cannot add up. So my message to Kenyans who trusted in the president, have hope in him, give him time, and then let's say 3 years down the line, you can start echoing what you're trying to say right now. And if it does not deliver by then, by 2027, just give your vote to someone else.
What a point to wrap up the discussion. Thank you so much. And we'll keep this discussion, because this discussion do matter. This is our country, and we cannot go down as a country. Brian puts it in a crystal clear manner that let's give President William Ruto time. And as they say, time will always tell whether these policies will bear fruits. Thank you for making part of this particular discussion. If you have not subscribed, please, I do beg you that you subscribe so that you form part of this discussion. My name is Peter Mwamba. Bye-bye for now. Till we meet next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.